Hey, welcome back. I touched on my last video about the importance of earplugs, but I wanted to make a full in-depth video about it because it really is very important. You need to protect your ears because once you lose your hearing, that's it. There really isn't much else you can do. And if this is something you love to do, or you just love listening to music in general and being able to hear, this is for you because I feel like a lot of people, there's a lot of myths and rumors that go around like, oh, it's not that bad, like I'll be fine. And I mean, if you only go to like one concert a year, one festival a year, I mean, it isn't probably the worst thing in the world if you're not using them, but you should still probably just use them because different people are different. Like our bodies are all different, and some people are susceptible to that type of damage more than others. And do you really want to roll the dice on that? Like not being able to hear, going deaf, like after it's one thing like, if you are born deaf, like you're used to it per se, but that is a big life change. Losing one of your senses, that is something that is detrimental and that can cause a lot of pain and frustration. So what I'm going to add here, so when you are at a show or a concert, a festival, it's loud. Obviously, that's why a lot of us are going. You can't get that sound system in your house unless you got a studio and a whole bunch of space and you live far out and you can actually afford a sound system like that, whether it's like L Acoustic, a Void Rig, or PK. A PK sound is my favorite personally, but that's another story. But it exceeds 100 decibels, which causes permanent hearing damage if you are for prolonged exposure, which is it's permanent. Like the damage is done. There is no reversing it. And like I said in the previous video, you don't want to cause the issue of that to happen and then there's nothing you can do about it. Like I said, I feel like growing up, if you're around my age, late 20s, early 30s, your parents probably growing up were like, you need to turn that down because you're going to go deaf. And literally, I'm already experiencing some tinnitus myself. It's not like super crazy, but I notice it and it's kind of scary. I'm like, yo, I'm actually going to start wearing these earplugs all the time because being hard headed, I'm like, oh, I'll be aight. But will I be aight? Like, let's be real. Tinnitus is when you have constant ringing in your ears. Like, you could be in a silent room and, like, you literally have a ringing. And mine is mild, but it's there. And I kind of always need some sound or something, some type of stimulation to kind of drown it out. And it's annoying. It's a problem. And a lot of really famous musicians talk about this, and some not so openly because I feel like a lot of people just don't understand what it is even. But they are around super loud music 24/7. Like even with earplugs, you're getting exposed to 100, 110 decibels all the time. We're humans. You can't really do that. Like I believe the statistic is they're supposed to 12 hours a week is acceptable for being exposed to 100 decibels, but after that, you are getting damage. And I feel like there's also a myth that when you wear earplugs, it muddies the sound. It doesn't sound as good. And I can agree with that to an extent. If you have like little cheap foam earplugs, like those are not the best. But I say any ear protection is better than no ear protection because you want to keep your hearing. That is like it's important. We need to be able to listen. Um, I will say I personally use Eargasms. I love Eargasm. They're a great brand, and I used them for years, even before I got a nice little affiliate program with them. And I don't like to push a product that I don't actually like, so I'd recommend them just because high fidelity, so it's actually proper. Because, like I said, the foam earplugs are like cheap. You can get them for like $1 at Walmart or whatever. But eargasms, they are a little bit more expensive, but you're losing your hearing is a lot more expensive. So I'd recommend some high fidelity earplugs. I believe it lowers the decibels by anywhere between like 15 to 22. And when you're at a concert, it's up in the 90 to 110 range usually. So it's lowering it to the point where you're not getting damage. and the clarity is still there. I feel like some people are like, oh, it muddies the sound. If you're wearing good quality earplugs, it doesn't really muffle the sound. If anything, it makes it better. The clarity is better. You're hearing the highs and the lows, how they're meant to be heard. You're not hurting your ears. You're not leaving the show ringing and like, oh my God, like you're so out of it. Like that is damage, and you don't want that. And I feel like that gives you peace of mind. You can know that you're not damaging your body, and we need to be able to hear to live for the most part. If you've lived with having your hearing and then losing it, that's detrimental. That can cause a lot of stress and can make you depressed and a whole bunch of other things that you just don't want. And if you want to be able to go to concerts and festivals for the rest of your life, I see a whole bunch of older people at music events, and I'm just like, I want to be like that when I'm like 60 years old. Like there's a guy at Bonnaroo, Dancing Man Chris. He is awesome. Love him. I run into him every year, and it's always just a pleasure to be able to speak with somebody who has probably been going to festivals double the time that I've been alive. And it's nice. It's a very enjoyable feeling. But they also have different sizes, so I have some tiny ears. I'm not gonna lie, it is what it is. So I use the ones for the smallest ears. Like they have filters in them, and you can take the filters out and plug them into the ones that fit your ear. They even have customized ones, or they literally take a mold of your ear and they are in there. So there's a whole bunch of options. Like I said, I've used Eargasm for the last like 4 or 5 years, and I've been going to festivals for the last 6 years. I've been listening to EDM since 2007. Deadmau5, Not Exactly was probably the first song I heard. I remember I used to be on the bus just listening on my MP3 player back. This is how old this was. And I was just like, dude, there's no words, but this is awesome. Like, I love a good beat. And the rest is history. But if you want to be able to go to festivals for the rest of your life and be able to enjoy them to the max and not get tinnitus, because tinnitus is bad. Like, I'm telling you, like, mine is mild, but it's there and it's very apparent. And I wish I would have just took the advice earlier on instead of being like, oh, earplugs look lame, or I don't need that. I'm superhuman, whatever, trying to be all macho or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, wait. This is important. So I just want to hammer that in. And you don't have to shove them in your ears really hard. Like, don't do that. They should sit in a way that is comfortable and you can actually move. Like, I can rage, I go crazy in the mosh pit, and we've all been there. We've all lost an earplug. It happens to the best of us. But if they're snugged the right way, you can still rage and headbang and do your thing, and they don't fall out. So you have to find that perfect spot, which could kind of be a little hard sometimes. But once you do find that snug spot, they're good to go, and go enjoy yourself. That's what it takes. And I really advise everyone to just do a little bit of research, because it really can get bad if you don't take care of your ears. And if this is something that you love to do, if you can't hear, I mean, you can still go to shows. I've seen deaf people at shows. They can still feel the bass and they can still feel the frequencies. And I've even seen the sign language interpreters, doing their thing. And I love that because it's inclusive. It allows everyone to come and enjoy the show. So I love that. I love that you can still go to shows, but you might not have the same experience if you used to be able to hear and now you can't, and then you go and you're like, well, I feel the bass, but I can't hear the wubs. And that would suck, So I just advise everyone to just do a little bit of research, see what makes the most sense for you, and make an informed decision so you don't end up deaf or with tinnitus, because you don't want that. It's not fun. And like I said, mine's mild. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 3, but it can be very annoying sometimes. So do your best, get some good earplugs, and enjoy the music. That's what I say. Keep being your best self and find what works. I appreciate you guys. Protect your ears, And shout out Eargasm for the amazing earplugs. I appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of your day. And happy holidays as well.